We are back, everybody. Welcome to Dutchy Tech Discussion 2.0, new and improved podcast. You can help and support us by becoming a patron. By doing so, you get 1 week early access to our podcast before it becomes live, and also a few extra bonuses depending what tier you selected. Today's topic, we'll be talking about the Crowdstrike Global IT Outage. Ouch! That's gotta hurt, because it's a crowd and they're gonna strike so hard. Yeah, I gotta stop with the jokes. I'm not really good at them. Let's have an opinionated discussion about technology. And these are my opinions, and they might align with you or may not. But hey, we're allowed to have an opinionated discussion, and feel free to offer your opinionated discussion on our talking points. Now, it is one of the biggest global IT outages that I sort of heard of. And I never heard of Crowdstrike until this incident happened when it came on the news feeds around the world. Apparently affected 8.5 million computers globally. Affected supermarkets, airports, hospitals, banks, and other businesses, or big businesses. And yes, it did happen here in New Zealand as well. Oh boy. So what actually happened? Well, apparently it has to do with Microsoft. And trust me, people are blaming Microsoft for this, and Microsoft is actually blaming someone else for this. I'll get more to that later. So what happens is, and I'll try and make it simple for the layman's terms. Windows operating system has a core. That core is called a kernel. This kernel actually handles what a point of an operating system does. It interacts with your software, interacts with hardware. To make it simple. So if you want to put something on your screen, the screen is a hardware, so that software needs to talk to the screen. And what it does, sometimes it uses drivers or needs drivers to assist with the various different hardware configurations. Now, apparently, apparently what happened is that CrowdStrike had a driver, more like their Falcon sensor agent, and more or less they had to need lower level access, which is the kernel, in order to perform that function. And so they have to get approval to have drivers to interact with the kernel. But because this CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity business and application, they need to respond quickly to threats, because as I have seen in the last, it's been quite some time really. It's been in the last few years, there's been an uptake in security breaches, more than usual, or downtime. But yeah, things are getting a little bit off the cliff, you could say, at times when it comes to that sort of thing. And to respond quickly, you need to be up to date to do that. Now, this is just only my opinions or assumptions of what happened and what I've gleaned from the internet and based on my own knowledge and experience, is that the driver cannot be updated as quickly because you have to rely on Microsoft to get an approval. It's like saying, hey, I need a bank loan and they might take 10 days to approve your bank loan or something like that. I don't know if it takes 10 days to get a bank loan, but just as a hypothetical example. So 10 days, a lot could happen in terms of cybersecurity. So a way around this is they use the driver as a payload, sort of like a payload launcher. Actually, no. That's probably a bad example. Most antiviruses have their scanning agents that runs in the background, like Windows Defender or AVG, Norton. There's a whole wide of McAfee, Kaspersky, all those, just dribbling a name of antiviruses. But in order to sort of uploading or updating the executable program or agents, they have a library file or database or definition. That's what the driver was actually doing. It actually talks to the definition file, and what happens is they patch these definition files. Apparently, something happened to one of their definition files. I believe there's some scattering over the internet that contains all zeros or ones, just a blank, corrupted, not working. Now you kind of see, from my experience, blue screens of death, 7 out of 10 times in my experience is usually a driver failure. And NVIDIA, I'm not going to bash NVIDIA on this, but NVIDIA is actually one of those pet peeves I usually have. An outdated driver, didn't like a program or something like that, and then crashes my system. I hate when NVIDIA drivers just crash and blue screen my screen. And it used to be more common back in the day when Windows 10 first came out. There was some issues with drivers, and that caused a whole upheaval of me. But anyhow, so you kind of see where I'm going with this, is that if there's a problem with the driver on a kernel level, you kind of see where I'm going with this. Excuse me. I'm still trying to recover from a nasty cold. Oh boy. So what happened is that the driver, the definition was empty, and the driver didn't know what to do. Crowdstrike probably poorly, not thoroughly tested this, because apparently who tests crap anymore? Who doesn't test anything anymore? Hence why the quality of software or bugs or something like that, let's put it in the public and let the public decide. And you got 10 billion people, no, not 10 billion, millions of people rely on your applications, and then it crashes, and then relies on those people to report it, and then they fix it, and then it'll take a week or a month to get it fixed, and yada 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 yada. So they're poorly written. In best case scenario, the driver will work, and yeah, so the driver will sort of work, and because the definition file was corrupted, the driver didn't know what to do. If they program some concepts or some sort of thing in there to prevent or verify or something like that, or if they have multiple definition files on the file, they can revert back to another one, but they didn't. Well, that's what I'm led to believe. So the definition was corrupted. The driver, the Crowdstrike's Falcon sensor driver didn't know what to do with it, and then it starts panicking, and then because it panics, then the kernel starts panicking. And you know what happens when the kernel starts panicking? No, it's not a 10 herbs and spices kind of kernel Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, it's scorched earth, and the sky turns blue and has a weird smiley face and a QR code. That is the blue screen of death, my folks. People. Yep, that's the blue screen of death. Or BSOD for short. Now, their solution was to get and affected supermarkets, airports, hospitals, banks, and other big businesses. I thought it was actually a Microsoft thing, and I did say before, it is kind of... I'll elaborate in a minute on this. And I thought, oh, it must be a Microsoft product that went rogue or feature that I haven't heard of, just some code name that means nothing. Well, like Watson, was it Dr. Watson or Watson something? Used to be a program. Was it Watson? I think it was Watson. Someone came up with the idea of naming a program Watson. Must be something to do with Sherlock Holmes or something on the lines, Dr. Watson or something like that. Something to do with diagnostics on Windows 3.11 or something like that. But I'm just rambling on about nothing. But you're here to learn. I'll get to the point. But so what they recommended recovery. Excuse me. Safe mode. Now, the problem with safe mode is that some of these businesses have to use BitLocker or had BitLocker in their environments, and it kind of caused issues to recover that. And yeah, it's a lot of people got really annoyed having flights cancelled, and not to mention airlines are suing CrowdStrike. Now, you would kind of think if you can take down... Now, I'll probably have to be clearly phrase this because I might get in trouble. But if the airlines are down and it was actually deliberate or not intent, it kind of feels like the airlines are being taken by hostage by terrorists. It's looked like a cyber terrorist attack that affected, well, they actually, CrowdStrike said it's not a cyber, everybody's safe, it was a rogue, everything was, because they actually mentioned that it's not a cyber terrorist attack. But if you brought down airlines, hospitals, this is a big deal. This has got to stop. This kind of business, the way people do business like this, has got to stop. Because people rely on these things. Airports are very high-pressured environments. Hospitals are high-pressure environments. Banks, yeah, we were a little bit worried we lose our money or our savings and retirements and pensions and whatnot. And other big businesses who used it. Now, none of my clients have been using it, and I thought anyone at home will not be, like home users will not be affected. These are big corporate people who need to protect infrastructures like airports, hospitals, banks. But this actually, what happened is that scammers are actually in force, and they were actually trying to scam people while this situation was running hot and saying, oh, we can get you back online. Yeah, don't fall for those scams. Obviously, those scams, I don't know if they still continue because we are a little bit late to report this to have this discussion because this happened weeks ago, but I don't know if these scammers are still taking advantage. And I think majority of all devices have been fixed, I believe. And airlines are suing CrowdStrike because of this, because if their whole schedules go out of whack, the airports come down, it's costing millions. It's costing billions, and it's affecting other people's lives, etc., etc. Now, here's where I'm going to say back to you about Microsoft. People are blaming Microsoft for this, for letting it happen. Now, Microsoft is blaming someone else for that. Guess who they're blaming? The European Union. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I am usually a big fan of the European Union because they are sticking it to the big guys. And what I mean by that, I'm talking like Apple and Microsoft or any other company that is being wasteful and being anti-competitive or have a monopoly on things. Stealing people's privacy is one of them, or taking people's private data without consent. Now, it used to be like you can look up any domain name. It used to be that if you're looking up for a website domain, you can look up all their private details. You can find where they live, if they're using their personal details, because there are, you could say, clearinghouses, because you can actually protect your privacy by using the clearinghouse, and that clearinghouse will actually sort of an intermediary. Now, there's no point for having those because those details are not there anymore, and that was to do with the European Union protecting people's privacy of domain names, or adds, in my opinion, adding more security to it. But where the European Union comes into this is that they said, no, Microsoft, they have their own security suite. I think it's Windows Defender. I'm not sure if that's the right way of doing it, but Microsoft open up their system a little bit so that people don't seem anti-competitive, so they allow other competitors, because that's why CrowdStrike was created in the first place, because if Microsoft had their way, this would not happen. And it's sort of six apples and six bananas. Well, are you an apple or a banana person? I don't know, but now Microsoft is blaming. People would say, "Oh, it's your platform. You should stop this." And endless reboots, blue screens of death. It's like, nah, because European Union's hitting Microsoft hard on this. They're going over the ear, because I got to say, because some executive who's in the air at Microsoft should be sacked, because I'm getting sick and tired of Microsoft's stupid executives in there. I don't know if it's Nadala, I don't know, I can't pronounce. Why is every CEO an Indian or an Asian guy? It's like, where is like all these weird, I can't pronounce these names, but I don't know if it's him or some other executives, because they got, and what, taking the phrase of Donald Trump, and I'm not a big Donald Trump fan, let's make Microsoft great again. Or no, let's make Windows, whoop, oh Jesus, there goes my water bottle. Let's make, oopsie daisy, let's make Windows great again. Paraphrasing what Donald Trump says, let's make America great again. Let's make Windows great again. Because Windows, I'm not liking their Windows 11. They are getting really restrictive. I might add they're getting really, really restrictive on, oh, we don't like your start menu, Microsoft. Oh, we will make an app that makes it look better. We don't like your File Explorer. We don't like your OneDrive. We don't like your cloud accounts or Microsoft accounts. And Microsoft is coming down hard on us. And I'm hoping that European Union is going to, oh, we only going to let the Europeans have it. No! The people who want it are Americans. Well, I'm not American. Kiwi, like myself, want this. It's hard to... so they're blaming... Microsoft is blaming this outcry to the European Union. I think Microsoft should look at themselves. It's like, well... And the European Union... yeah, I admit they do some good things, but then there are some bad things. And I looked into this, and yeah, they didn't like, the European Union didn't like Edge being forced on Windows users because it's an anti-competitive, because unlike Google and their Chrome, and any other company, or Safari from Apple. Who uses Safari on Windows anymore? Oh, God. I have tried it once. It's sort of the same as Chrome in a way, I think. Or, I don't know. I have tried it once, though. But anyhow, so what can we get from this? And just after, I had my phone going off, or I've been inundated recently, because in New Zealand in particular, Microsoft went down with their emails, and it created a panic. So I think this is going to be only the beginning of all this stuff. Microsoft is letting down their customers in that regards. When the emails, Teams, or whatever it was, just not long ago, went down here in New Zealand, and I don't know what's the next thing. It could be this Crowdstrike thing, the Microsoft outage. I bet there's something a lot worse, and I mean like COVID-19 level kind of worse. Like real bad. Well, just hope that nobody actually uses artificial intelligence to control military silos or drones. If you actually had if you are stupid enough to do that, yeah, you've been watching too much Terminator, folks, because I don't want that to happen. I don't want AI to take over and kill me, because that's just stupid. Because yeah, it's like, what's next? It's like this global sort of Crowdstrike outage is a wake-up call to the IT industry, I think. This is just my opinion. It's a wake-up call, because I have seen time and time again that businesses hoarding their things, like European Union is going against Apple about their cords, their power cords. They want them standardized because it's a competitive, or open it up so they can allow other people, not just Apple, to provide their power cords, their charger cords. I actually agree with the European Union on that, because Apple is for the rich people, Samsung is for the poor people, because Apple products are just too expensive. Phones and tablets and computers. But then again, I hear some good things about the computers. I don't like the iPads, don't like the iPhones, but there's some pretty good things from a Mac though. It does some nifty things, I might add. But and final thoughts is that this global, it should not happen. They should have proper procedures in place to actually test before the update goes out. Where anyone who's got in a mind to say, well, before you make it go live, imagine if this was hooked up to someone's medication machine, like a ventilator or a well-equipped advanced ventilator or life support machines. There's gonna be, we can't have that. We can't have technology that we rely on, and believe it or not, a lot of people who went to the supermarket got really ticked off too about this, and they actually, it was quite upsetting. I actually didn't go to the supermarket that time when that happened, so I didn't get upset about that part. But what we're going to have to learn from this is that nothing is like it used to be. I like the old days, but we need to learn from this, and they're not learning from it. I bet someone over there is probably about to make the same mistake, and it will happen again. And no one's learning from it. More like, I don't give a crap attitude. And Microsoft is taking that line as well, because they're not listening to their customers. Crowdstrike, never heard of it. And if they're a public company, traded company, I bet their share price is going down down the cliff like Wile E. Coyote trying to chase the Roadrunner. Meep meep. Yeah. Trying to chase the Roadrunner. Meep meep. And then weep. No, ends up down the cliff. Because that's I don't know. I'll leave it there for now. But we'll see what comes out. Well, I'm going to leave it here for now, but I'll see what comes out of it. And just be prepared for the next disaster, because in my opinion, it's going to happen again. When, where, and who, that is to be decided, or to happen, because it's going to happen. I'm telling you now, this is going to happen again. Not just Crowdstrike, but it's going to happen again. Whoever, it could be actually, I don't know, hackers, government, whatever you want to call it. So, if you want to support our podcasts or support us, become a Patreon. You get 1 week's early access to this podcast. So this podcast will be exclusive to you for a week before it goes live. And if you have, we'll be having this on Spotify. We'll be posting this on Spotify and on YouTube when it becomes public and live. And if you got any topics you like us to discuss, or I like to, for me to discuss, or opinions, or you just want to join the show, let us know and see if we can hook something up, and we'll go from there. So be safe, and until the next podcast, be awesome.